Hey y'all, what's going on? We are live, real talk to you. We are here, the show is starting right now. Sorry for the delay, but you know we had to get things right for you. That's all we had to do.
Yeah.
And like I told you, today is a good show. So we have the access right now, which Autumn is actually doing. You have the ability to actually send us live questions. We'll do our best to answer them. I'm not saying that we're gonna know it all, but we're gonna try our best to answer your questions as we can, okay? Now, so I can introduce everybody on the panel. You guys know LM, don't y'all, down at the end?
Yes, sir. What's going on?
That's right. And we know Autumn Sonata. The beautiful Autumn Sonata. And our special guest today, who came all the way from where? Just downtown Atlanta? Where'd you come from yet?
Chamblee.
Chamblee.
Yeah.
For those who ain't from the South, this is just another town down here.
It's in the perimeter.
We got Latoya. So welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
So Latoya had me go get some Riesling. What is it called?
Riesling.
Riesling. So I got fancy, and I had the glasses and everything. You see, I got glasses. You see, you know me and LM don't drink,
No.
but I got the fancy glasses. But when I was going to get the Riesling, I have tried wine before. I actually been to a wine tasting, and the one wine tasting I went to was actually the first time that I realized I love Scorpios. Her and I, this girl, and Twan know who I'm talking about. We met in Michigan at a little spot, and I was trying to be all fancy with my date, and I was like, let's go to a wine tasting. At that time, she was a Scorpio, November, whatever it was for Scorpios, and I was like, let's try some wine out. So I had some fancy stuff like that. It was really sweet, but that's when I realized that Scorpios are my weakness. Well, one of my weaknesses. Other Zodiacs, y'all can still holler at me. Don't take y'all can still holler at me. Don't take it like, hey, he only mess with Scorpios. You know what I'm saying? I tell y'all every week, if Halle Berry come knock at that door, I'm there.
Oh man.
But no, they had me in the mindset of characteristics of, I guess, Zodiac signs and what actually gets my attention. Now, for me, Scorpios were, I don't know, I guess you could say they were easy to talk to. They're emotional as hell, though. They kind of go this and this, you know? Don't they?
Oh yeah.
Oh my.
Wavy.
And the thing about them being that way is, you like, okay, well, I'm on, but they apologize quickly, though. That's one thing they will do. They do apologize quickly. So for me, I would say if I were to rate my top, and see, this is going to sound real crazy, my top 3 signs that I think I get along best with, well, Leo I can't include, 'cause that's me. So me and Leos, we always either get along or we bump heads. So I'm going to leave that as, that's like having a top 5 list and trying to include Biggie and Tupac. So we're going to put that to the side.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you my top 3. It's going to be, well, Scorpios, Virgos, and this last one, I'm only saying it because I married one, and I really, I married the one side that was okay. Geminis. Geminis. I married one, and I boy, don't leave it at that.
Don't reminisce.
Don't reminisce. All right, you heard Juan was there with me. It was tough. I married one, and I walked away from one. Ran away from one.
I was about to say, did you really walk?
I know, ran away.
I'm about to sprint.
So what's up with y'all? What's y'all signs that y'all like? Oh my gosh,
My top. I'm sorry. So the top 3 that I like, that I like vibe with. So I'm a Capricorn.
Okay.
I'm a Capricorn.
What is it about Capricorn? Well, tell me about it. What's the time frame for Capricorn?
So my birthday is January 1st.
January 1st.
Yeah, so it's like end of December, mid-January is Capricorn.
Mid-January.
Yeah, that's Capricorn.
That's Capricorn. I'm trying to think of anyone else that is a Capricorn that I might.
Explain to me. I mean, I'm not super up on this all the time. So, what is the characteristics that they describe when they describe a Capricorn?
So, a Capricorn is an earth sign. So,
Okay.
I mean, just think about the characteristics of Earth. Earth is like very practical, dependable, reliable, sturdy, traditional in values in a lot of ways, hardworking, resilient. All these amazing things. Yes, because it's about me.
You got
It's about me. So, yeah. But so Capricorn, so that's an earth sign.
You said January. What is yours?
January 1st.
John, I see you out there. January 2nd. I see you out there.
Yeah, the men and the women are different though.
Oh, okay, John.
Each side. They're different.
Okay, John.
But it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different. But for me as a Capricorn, my top 3 would be Pisces #1, and I'm married to a Pisces. Loves Pisces.
So that's why Pisces would be #1, because if he sees us and you didn't say that,
Absolutely.
I ain't real.
That's my lady.
Real. Either way, I like Pisces a lot. I like Virgos,
yes.
which is another earth sign,
Okay.
like myself. And I don't know, I kind of have a love-hate relationships with Geminis as well. Like this real
Because two of them motherfuckers.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, so it can be intense.
Oh my god.
But yeah, those are my top 3.
And I ain't trying to say all Geminis suck.
The women are.
I guess I'm supposed to say something else after that, but I ain't really had nothing else to say.
Moving right along.
I know some really dope Gemini women. Now the men, I ain't messing with them. I was with a Gemini male for a couple of years, and they're completely batshit crazy.
See? I ain't trying to say all of y'all.
For sure.
They're born bipolar. I swear to God, there's something wrong with them Geminis. But for me, I'm a Sagittarius. We are the best sign, I must say. Put that out there on this table, out in front of the
You
world.
notice I ain't even started with my Leo shit yet.
But you know
I was
what?
trying to be quiet.
We are a fire sign, and we're very eclectic, adventurous, very honest, and outspoken people. And we are very non-traditional in the sense that we don't follow, or we go against the grain. For me, my top 3 would be Leo, because they're challenging and very passionate in the same way, but also very sensitive.
Chill out.
Chill
out. Just don't say nothing to make me cry. That's all I gotta say. Don't make me cry. Be good. Just don't say nothing to make me cry.
Until you make them cry. That's all.
Man.
But
Hurt my feelings.
Capricorn, we're like polar opposites, but they create a balance for us. And as far as the third one, I don't know. I haven't really. I would say a Sagittarius male,
Sagittarius?
because we understand each other. Even though I would not get close to one again, but I would say as far as their likeness towards us, we can be really good friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we ain't messing with no Geminis.
Nah, I mean I think that's a theme, but I don't want y'all to feel like we hating on y'all. I mean,
Tanisha is a Gemini female, and she is dope. So
okay.
She got a shout out, I guess.
Exactly. What's going on, Swamp? I mean, LM, what's happening with the show signs?
I'm a Taurus, so stubborn, bullheaded, reliable, hard loving, dependable. I think that Scorpio, I get along good with Scorpio women, Gemini, and also Sagittarius.
Wow, it's interesting. We don't like Geminis, we love Geminis. I don't know what's really going on with that.
I don't
That's
know.
crazy.
I don't know.
Yeah, that dichotomy there.
That's crazy.
I've
So
talked to a lot of the women in my life, Gemini. I've come across Gemini. Pretty cool.
for me, I'm a Leo. So most people who know anything about Leos or ever looked at a Leo, pretty much every Leo I've met has fit into that exact characteristics of what we're very much not introverts, we're extroverts. We love the center of attention. We're not conceited, we're confident. So make sure you guys get that correct. Confident in who we are. That's always confused that people think, but that's just who we are. We love to help people out. And we're very aggressive. And I know I always see these things online. Like, you guys ever see the memes? Like, what compatible signs or whatever? Just so you know, Leo's in part of everything. Anytime it says who's the most this, well, the good stuff, it's always going to be Leo. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to tell y'all, that's how it is.
Yeah, Leo probably wrote it. That's
That is.
You know what? Touche.
Leo probably wrote it.
Because you know what? You're right. We do take the lead.
That was-
You're right.
Okay. Message.
So I'm gonna break it down like this, and I'm gonna get a little extra with y'all. So the first time I met someone or got with someone that was my sign, oh Lord, I didn't even understand how I was and how I acted until you get with somebody that's your sign.
Yeah.
I started talking to another Leo, and immediately, first of all, when you talk to someone else that's your sign that has the same character, you click like this, like fast. It's like, boom, we get married. Well, y'all know me, I'm sensitive, so I'm like I told y'all already. But we clicked so fast, I was like, oh my gosh. It was like everything she did was exactly what I wanted. Only thing that we ever did, though, we did compete for time or we talked. So imagine being on the phone and both of y'all got something to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
Leo's on like, wait, I got my point of view I want to get out. And that's just because we like to we like to talk, we also like to help people. So it was interesting though. We had like the best of times and everything worked out great. It's just the time that she came into my life was kind of wrong. But I realized then it's like, oh my gosh, if I'm going to get married again, it'll probably either be to a Leo. That's why I said I took the Leo out my top 3. Is I already got them at the top. So it'll probably be a Leo or one of the other top 3 signs that I like, because it's very hard to find someone you connect with, especially at this age. I'm 40 years old, so trying to find someone I connect with and I have to kind of like rebuild. Usually it's gonna be a Leo because they're gonna be in the same mindset I'm at. So I don't know. What about you guys in your first love with your own sign? Have you guys had that experience?
Oh yeah.
I have. Yeah.
It was fire, and then it was hell.
You sound like you got a warrant out.
Sagittarius.
Well, you said fire, like you got a warrant out or something. He's
no,
still, is he looking for you?
Everything else.
I mean,
But,
let us know.
Very passionate together. We clicked like this, and we thought the same. They had the same thought process. We were very adventurous and creative. We were both creatives in that way, and we bounced off each other very well. What I loved about him is that he was totally not boring. He did not fit any stereotype, and he was always open for doing new things. Very funny, hilarious, open, and always wanting to help people. He had a real, good passion for people. But
so what you do?
Flip side.
What you do? Why didn't it work out?
He wanted to control me because he didn't want someone else to experience
what she did is she
yeah.
didn't want to get controlled. That's exactly what she basically saying.
Yeah, we don't do the whole pin me down.
Not a Sag. Not any fire sign.
Yeah.
Not any fire sign. Nope.
We're very big on trust. If you can't trust me, if I'm telling you the truth, I'm very honest and I'm brutally honest. So if you can't trust what I'm saying, then this is the wrong place. And we're very dismissive. Like, it doesn't take anything for me to be like, I'm done. And I'll be completely honest with you about it. So there's no gray area. We don't do gray area at all. It's either on or off. And we're very, very vocal about our needs and wants. And it's black and white. If you can't deliver, then we're out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel you on that. I still say it was your fault.
You probably say it's my fault too. But
low key, it sounds like
care.
low key is her fault. See, that's why. Because I'm sensitive and shit. I don't care.
I told you the truth. Get on about your business.
See, this is why I cry at night. This is right here. This is why women and what y'all do, brothers out here. You know what I'm saying? Twan, what about you, man?
I did. Well, it was interesting dating a Taurus before. We're very we're sensitive. We also we care. Mm-hmm. We're like 100% or 0. It's not really an in between. Mm-hmm. So it's either we mess with you or we just don't want to deal with you at all. Just no phone call, no friendship, nothing. I think that's probably the one weird part is that we think so much alike. We really think about things before we do things. Mm-hmm. We might run it through our head at least 1,000,000 times and break it down, all the scenarios before we actually come up with what our answer is supposed to be. But just dating somebody that's just like that, it was really kind of weird. I can't. It was really off.
Like dating yourself.
Because I know I was thinking something, but then she would be like, "Yeah, I know you went home and thought about it," and I was like, "Damn, how did you? I knew you." Oh, just God. Oh, so I know you broke it down because when I went home, I broke it down in my head. I was like, "Yeah, he probably at home thinking about it." I was like, "Damn, how did you read my thoughts?"
Oh, so y'all can't sneak and do nothing.
No.
Oh, that's why y'all don't like each other. Y'all can't sneak and do nothing.
But I mean, as far as the getting along part, the getting along. Most people say the people that are the same, they don't get along a lot of the time. Yeah. Like opposites attract. I get along with them. It's just we think too much alike. So we kind of like make a scenario where we're both, like let's say in the sensitive area. So if they're sensitive and you're sensitive about certain things, then too sensitive, we're stubborn too. So it's kind of hard to have a discussion about something. So you might wait a few days, a week or whatever, and like, oh, I'm not going to talk to him. I'm going to wait.
Oh, y'all can do
and
that?
they think the same thing.
Really?
I'm going to wait till she calls me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to wait till he calls me.
Yeah.
It could be about 2 or 3 weeks before you talk to him.
That's
you need
crazy.
that balance.
Yeah,
that's why it's
definitely.
hard to date your own sign. I've dated Capricorn men before, and I am not a fan. I am not a fan.
Just so you know, John got something to tell you too. John was saying
John is a fan.
we're ruled and driven by a persistent mountain goat. What
Yes, the goat. That's
a real. Okay, I thought I didn't read that wrong.
right away.
Don't hate
Like
on the mountain
John,
goat.
where are we going with
That's
this?
a respectable
That
animal.
sounds like some category on the.
She said earthy and mountain goat. All right.
So what's the mountain goat? That's y'all sign?
Yeah, that's like the animal. So like a Leo is a lion.
Yeah.
We are the mountain goat. The Sag, I think that is not an animal.
It's a centaur.
Is it for the Sag? Is it centaur? Okay, and then Taurus is like the ram.
Bull.
Yeah, so everybody has
Bull. Yeah.
everybody has their animal.
Scared.
But Capricorn men, the problem I had with them, just too critical, too controlling, too serious.
Y'all hear that?
Just the controlling part was the biggest issue for me. Like, I
Really?
like to be free. That's why I like Pisces, like that's a water sign,
Okay.
and they're flexible and creative and sensitive and emotional. Capricorns are not like that. I'm not like that. I'm not very emotional. I'm not super duper sensitive, but my moon is in Pisces, so it kind of makes me a little bit different. But like at the core of myself, it's like a really like straightforward, kind of hard-nosed person. But I need somebody who's willing to kind of ebb and flow with me. Capricorn men don't do that. And so I just never had a good experience. Never had a Capricorn.
So that's interesting then. It's like, y'all talking about who y'all been with, but yet for me, it seems like Leos, we get along well, but Capricorns ain't rocking too well with Capricorns because of balance, right?
Right, for me. Right, personally.
And then Sagittarius is it's like, it works for a little bit, but it ain't yin and yang. It's more like
best friends.
best friends, wow.
Best friends and never go into the relationship arena.
And then Taurus is y'all so damn sneaky, y'all can't do nothing behind it. Y'all know exactly what the hell going on. So y'all like, nah, I thought about that already. Like, nah, I knew he was about to shoot me tonight. That's how y'all think, you know what I'm saying? So that's interesting how I look at the signs. My thing is, I guess when you first meet somebody, even though that's that interesting thing everybody says, what's your sign? I never think about that until I start talking to them. And the minute I click, I go, you must be because I feel it in my spirit. Like, so traditionally we know our own myths about, what we like. But what is a common thing of saying what signs normally get together well? What would you say?
I usually consider it from an elemental perspective. So just think about how the elements interact with one another.
So break down the elements though, because some of us only know Leo
Let's start
stuff.
from the beginning.
So I'm like, break it down from January.
Let's start from the beginning.
So like, I know you
Bounce
guys
and ball.
mentioned fire signs, water signs,
Yes.
Earth.
goats, earth. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's fire, it's water, it's earth,
And it's air.
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 Why do I feel like I should be doing this while she's saying that? Like I feel like it's air.
And it's air.
Wow. All right. So okay. I'm gonna go ahead and do the math on this. Is it 4 signs? I'm sorry. Yeah. So 4 signs, 3 signs.
Three
each
signs.
one?
Yes, for
I only went
each
to school
one.
once, y'all. I'm sorry. Public education. I apologize. You know what I'm saying? All right. So it's 3 signs for each one.
Yep.
So the 3 signs that are fire are.
Your Leo, your Sagittarius, and what's the third fire? Aries.
Aries.
Yes.
All right, so Aries, what up? Fire. Sagittarius, don't get hurt by them. Leo, you know what's up. You know what I'm saying? So that's the fire. So do you know the water ones?
I'm just
Yeah.
listening for mine. That's all.
Your water is your Earth, like me.
Okay.
Yeah, but your water is going to be your Pisces, your Cancer, your Scorpio.
Ah.
Those are water.
Okay, so now I'm feeling okay. So I get along with water with Scorpios. Okay, I'm feeling
Which is
that.
interesting though, because your fire is not really making sense to me because
Oh.
it's like that water and fire don't really necessarily.
Oh, they do. Scorpios put out all my fire. I'll tell you that right now. They come Scorpios right now put out all my fire. You know what I mean? I'm just joking. I mean, I'm not joking, but you know what I'm saying.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry. All right, so we got water, Scorpios, Pisces, and
I'm Cancer.
Cancer. Okay, so the next is air.
Air is going to be Aquarius, Libra, and what am I drawing right? It's Aquarius, Libra,
And the other one.
Yeah, no. Because I lost track. So
Because I don't know none of them.
Virgo.
Nope. Aquarius, Libra. I don't know why it's on
let's
the tip
ask
of my
Google.
tongue. No, because I know. Don't
I'm
ask
playing.
them.
I'm playing.
Aquarius.
No, you Taurus, right?
Yeah,
So it ain't that.
No, it's not Taurus. Let me think. Capricorn.
she got this. Don't worry.
I'm trying to think of the names of all of them because I only met but so many folks.
Them wheels turning. She got it.
Exactly. I don't know but so many folks. Because folks like talking about these little signs. I can't think of all the names. What,
I'm not
Gemini?
drawing a, no, it's not. Gemini is yes, it is.
It gotta be Gemini.
It's Gemini. Yes.
That's what
Yes, it's Aquarius.
Uh-huh.
Very good. Yes,
Chris said
Aquarius. Yes.
Good looking. Good looking.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Yes.
it. Good looking on that sis.
Hey,
Gemini.
Good looking on that
Aquarius,
sis.
Libra, Gemini. That's
Aquarius,
your air.
Libra, Gemini,
Uh-huh.
and they're the air signs.
Mm-hmm.
Gemini's an air sign.
Yep, that's the air sign.
Wow. So air and fire, that's a good
Oh,
thing.
boy.
That, I mean, it can be. Think
It
about
can be.
what air does to fire. Air can feed it. You know what I'm saying? It can make it bigger or it can
That
put it out.
explains it right
Or
there.
it
That's
can
why
put it
y'all
out.
piss me off. Y'all make my fire bigger. That's what the hell's going on.
Right.
Yeah.
Damn. Now that makes sense. But y'all
Kanisha
still
the
cool.
male.
That's why.
I gotta keep saying that because Kanisha is so cool.
Well, I want to break that down later too. So I want to break down the male-female side, but I still want to understand like the ones that compliment you. So now, go ahead and break down the Earth. Capricorn. I've been listening.
Yeah.
I'll
wait for mine.
Earth.
Wait for mine.
Earth, that's Capricorn, that's your Taurus, that's your Virgo.
Yeah.
Those are your Earth signs.
Makes sense. I do get along with Virgos. I can understand the Earth thing.
Yeah.
So those are the ones that which ones are more compatible? And when I talk about male, female, just talking about just in general.
Just in general.
Yeah.
Water and Earth is going to be pretty good together.
Okay, you have water and Earth as well.
Water and Earth is pretty good. Air and Earth can do okay.
Air and Earth can do okay.
Fire and Earth can do okay as well.
Okay, burn shit up.
Yeah, I mean, and and Earth does okay as well. Earth it's just one of those elements that it mixes.
Is it more universal?
Yeah, it's kind of universal.
So Earth is universal with all the signs. That's the
I
best.
don't want to say it's universal because we do struggle with fire signs. We struggle with that, but it can work. But we have a hard time with it.
What element is probably you'd maybe say universal then?
None of them.
Really?
Yeah. It's like a mix and a match for all of them. Yeah, none is like just compatible with everybody. No
You
sign
hear that?
compatible with
Chris,
them all.
Libras
That
are
makes
not
sense.
compatible with everybody.
That makes sense.
Y'all got issues.
But mostly for Earth, water. Water is really good for Earth. I like fire and air. Fire and air does okay.
And that's that Gemini then. That's
yeah,
that
it
Gemini
does
and Leo.
okay. Because like I said, it can feed the fire, it can make it bigger, or it can put it out. It just depends on like what frequency this person is on. Are they low vibrating?
That's why
or high
Gemini is
vibrating?
that.
You know what?
Yeah.
All the women in my life, my mother, my best friend, a couple other friends, they're all Libra women. And they're all very honest with me because I can go off on a tangent and be very outspoken and vocal. And I'm the friend who's they come to for the brutal truth. But they also bring me back down to earth and keep it, they calm me down. So
wait a minute, so Libras are what you were raised by, right?
Mm-hmm.
And your best friend is a...
Chris is a Libra.
Interesting.
I got another good friend who's a Libra. Three friends they're all born within a couple of days of each other. And their mentality or their demeanor are all the same.
And so that's another interesting concept that I don't even know if we can get into on this show, is just talking about the signs and how they raise, I guess you could say, their kids or how they are as friends. Because I know how we talk about relationships.
Right.
Oh, Lord. See?
Look, she's not even bringing too much.
Hey, they sides must get along.
Exactly. She's not even bringing too much. That's the most aggressive. That's why they cry. They make people cry.
Give me my drink.
Don't do it.
That's how they do it.
I apologize. I'm sorry.
No,
So if we look at it like...
she was a Libra.
Exactly. So when we look at it like that and talk about, well, first talking about, the signs and which elements are compatible, and then you talk about things that we may not have a chance to get into in this podcast when we start talking about being raised by and things like that. I kind of want to more focus on the relationship side. But before we get back to that, let's talk about the difference of the male side of a sign versus the female side of a
I
sign.
want to hear this one.
Because
I didn't know a difference.
I've been friends with probably Gemini men, and I ain't like their ass either. You know what I'm saying? Like, real talk. Like, it all depends on exactly, I guess, that type. Because it seemed like that trait is, like, the same across the board.
Just everybody, the male and the female is just different. It's just different energy. They bring different energy. And it's like the same, like, core concepts, but the way it presents is just different. So, like I was saying about Capricorn men, like all Capricorns can kind of stern and harsh.
You hear that, John?
Men are just like worse. And maybe I'm just saying that because I'm a woman, the Capricorn, but I feel like we're a lot more flexible than the Capricorn men. Virgos, I get along better with Virgo women than I do Virgo men. To me, the Virgo men are too tough. They're like critical, hard to get along with.
I like Virgo. Well, I like Virgo women. I mean,
I enjoy them. I like them. But I prefer the women.
I can't think of any Virgo men that I know that are in September, right?
I don't know any Virgos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, my mother was a Virgo. That's why I get along.
I get along with
the second.
Virgos.
If y'all
September
a
2nd.
Virgo, I don't know, you let
about
me know
men.
because I don't.
Virgos, to me, I always thought Virgos would probably be the most sign to get along with everybody.
The women are laid back. The men are not like that.
Really?
The women are very laid back as Virgos. I don't know.
I've always got along with Virgo women, and I guess, you know, when you look at your family, look how you were raised. I was raised by a Virgo woman. I'm trying to think were there any Geminis that actually played a serious role in my life. I mean, I can't think of any, but they probably were. But the Virgos definitely had an impression on me. I mean,
What's your sister?
What is she? She's February 1st.
Oh.
I don't know what is that. That's the same as my daughter. Then my daughter's January 29th.
Mm-hmm.
So my daughter, who's what is that sign? Who is
Aquarius.
That is your son's Aquarius.
Oldest one.
Oh my gosh, that's so for me dealing with my daughter who's an Aquarius. It's kind of like interesting because she's a daddy's girl, so she's more like daddy, daddy, daddy. And if I say something, she get mad and cry, and then comes right back, daddy, daddy, daddy. So I don't know if Aquarius have that. I can only imagine like if she was dating somebody, she'd probably be an asshole.
My son, he's a total jerk. I'm like, dude, you gotta show some emotion. He's very like, whatever, nonchalant,
detached.
Yeah.
It's scary.
What's your
That air.
He's an Aquarius,
okay.
January 31st.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to, as a parent and as a Sagittarius, I'm much.
I like to hear y'all just talk
so
like
I try
this.
to pull his emotion
Outdoor.
out of him. He's like,
Yeah, ain't gonna
nothing.
happen. Ain't gonna happen.
He gets excited, you know, depending on what's going on. But other than that, he's very reserved and, you know, withdrawn. So I can, you know, I didn't read up much on Aquarius, so that's interesting to know.
No, I definitely didn't. And John was just saying for him, it's Cancer women that he gets along best with. So I guess even the Capricorn men, y'all like in different sets. Y'all don't.
Yeah, he
y'all
said
know.
he likes this is the Capricorn. Yeah, that's water. That makes sense. I was saying I love Pisces.
I'm learning.
I'm learning too, bro.
So
I never got that deep into it. She just educated
the question
me.
I have is how much of us or the root of us is determined by our sign, like our conditioning and our upbringing, our environment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That all plays a part in it.
Okay.
And then also you have a full chart, and that's a whole other show. You know, but we
A
all
what
have
chart?
a whole like a whole chart.
Wow.
Like we have a chart full of signs. So you have your moon and your rising sign. All of those things play a role. So like I was saying earlier, my moon is in Pisces, but I'm a Capricorn, Pisces, Leo.
See, I'm Sagittarius across the board.
You're a triple Sag?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes.
You look
So-
it up?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, there
The
was
Sagittarius I was
What is that? What am I?
He was into that.
You gotta look it
up.
up.
Was like,
I never knew
I'm
it was
Sagittarius.
Yeah, Farm Brothers
because
of
he was
Public Education.
Sagittarius.
I didn't know we had 3.
And I'm Sagittarius across the board.
So your moon is Sag,
Sun, moon, and
and you're
rising.
rising. Get out of here.
Yeah.
That's
So they
what-
lost
And when I
me.
look it up, every time I look it up, I'm like,
They
this.
said rise when I was
That's
The main things
intense.
that they describe with Sagittarius, I hit
That's
them all.
intense.
In adventurous. They say that we're, you know, they try to describe us as free spirited to the point where we're promiscuous, but it's not. I'm not that. I think we're very, we can attach very easily.
She's trying to say that's okay. Amber Rose made a whole thing about it. It's okay. Amber Rose said it's okay to be promiscuous.
Be promiscuous. It's okay. Be who you are.
Wait a minute,
He sure
Sagittarius,
is. I love him.
Nicki Minaj. We ain't counting. Just take her out. Leonardo. I looked it up.
Yeah.
So we're just very dismissive, and I think people would mistake that for being like unwilling or, you know, too free
You're
spirited.
a quitter.
I ain't a quitter. I just analyze quick, and if it ain't fitting my purpose, then
You
I'm
quit
out.
today.
I'm like,
But you have all that fire, and then you're the same sign, so that's going to make it difficult for you to have perspective
yeah,
because you don't have that balance
yeah. and
like of
that's where
other.
I think the one sign that I got along with the most, it was a Leo, but I couldn't trust them because they roam a lot. They roam.
Chill out. Chill out.
Don't get started.
We're like, you were
Don't get
right
started.
there.
Hey,
You were right
wait a
there.
minute. Let me ask you a straight question. What age was this?
Listen, this is 2 years ago. We're still good friends.
Okay, what level of
Don't
experience
die.
was he in life? Was he at a point where he had established himself,
Oh,
already
yeah.
had conquered everything he needed to conquer?
Yeah.
And then he didn't need to be, because I don't roam. I'm part of the faithful black
No,
community.
that's what but like she said, my perspective is not open to different views. So when I look at him, I'm like, and based off of his past, I look at him like, you know, you're going to go back to what you're used to doing.
So you're judgmental?
To a point.
I feel like anybody who's a triple anything has that issue. It's not just because she's a Sag. Like if you have 3 of the same signs in like the most important part of your self, your chart, you're going to lack perspective.
Yeah. You're blinded by something.
What's
Yeah.
up, Carrie? I see you checking in. So y'all talking about something that we didn't understand.
I didn't
You
know.
guys broke down a
She
whole.
wouldn't know about a Libra woman. She
Oh,
always got it. You know, Libra. Never mind.
Go ahead and say it. You grew up with them.
Speaketh.
That's my homie. They
Oh, you can't send them back.
no. I'm gonna tell you about
I can.
I'm surrounded. They don't like to be told when they're wrong.
Ooh, you hear
I don't
that?
like it. My mother.
You don't like to be told when you don't do nothing but shake somebody's
I
hand.
agree.
Am I right?
We only shake somebody's hand and don't want
I'm
to give them
sorry,
a
I
hug.
love you, but yeah, she don't like me told when she wrong. She gonna kill me. Boy, I gotta go over there tomorrow. She gonna
Exactly, you
kill me.
won't get it.
Somebody
Yeah,
else.
but
with
So
their
break
best.
down the whole thing y'all talking about like across the board, because I really don't know what that means. So when you say all your 3 signs, what 3 levels are y'all looking at?
So, okay, so your sun sign is the sign that we were all discussing in the beginning. That's just the
Okay.
day you were born.
The day you were born.
Anybody born on January 1st is a Capricorn. It doesn't matter. You know,
Okay.
where they're a Capricorn.
Got you.
But you also have your moon sign.
So you have a sun sign and a moon sign.
Your moon, exactly. Now your moon represents the position of the moon when you were born.
Oh,
So
Lord.
that's determined by where you were born and the time you were born. So if you know what time you were born, you can look it up. That's how you find it out. That's how you calculate it.
I know what.
So, but your moon is your emotional self. So it's like how you deal with like adversity, your subconscious self, like your id, your impulsive self, like just everything that's about emotions.
Did not know that.
And then your rising is how you present to the world, like
Now, what's
how
your
people
rising? What's that mean?
perceive you. That's your 3rd sign, and that I'm not sure exactly what the calculations of that is based
Yeah.
on, but you still have to know the time you were born
Ah.
and the location. But like I look at it like a tree. Okay, so at the roots of the tree is what your sun sign is. So
Okay.
at your root, you're a Leo. At
Leo.
his root, he's a Taurus.
Yeah, she whatever.
Yeah, right. Okay, so that's the
I'll
root.
play it. I'll play it.
The
Don't beat me
root
up.
is your sun sign, and then you can look at the trunk of the tree as like your moon sign, and that's your
Okay.
emotional self. And then the branches would be
So that's your
your
inside.
rising, and that's the part that kind of protects
So
the squishy emotional self. So your moon, in my opinion, is like the most important thing.
The
Like
moon.
I always want to know your moon. If I
You
need
wanna
to
know
know
the
your
emotions?
moon. I need to know because that tells me where you are psychologically. That tells me where you are mentally. That tells me how you solve your problems. That tells me way more than your sun sign does.
Yeah, we do things off of emotion.
John wants to know everything.
He was
He
born
wants to
at
know.
9:26
Yeah,
p.m.
look it up.
Eastern Standard.
Hospital
Good,
name, like
good
he
with
wants to
John.
know.
He know that the Eastern Standard Time on there and everything.
You can look it
I
up.
don't think we got the thing with us, John. We
I
ain't
don't
got
know,
it with us
John.
right
I
now.
don't
It'll
know.
take him like 2
Sensitive ass
minutes.
Leo, you're right.
Who said
I'm just saying.
sensitive?
I'm just
Where, that's not even on there. Who said
Yeah,
that?
Yeah, it's on there.
Y'all are sensitive.
low key.
Low key. That's how you feel, Chris? That's how you feel? Okay.
So you just remember
All right,
trying
so
to
that's that.
Yeah, but
So-
they hold on to stuff though.
Yeah, we hold on.
Y'all be holding.
Because it's supposed to be held on to.
No.
Taurus in the first
Taurus,
place.
we hold grudges.
Yeah, sure do.
We ain't gonna forget.
Never,
shit.
ever.
Don't think we forgot about it. It's planted back here
Yeah,
somewhere in
I
the file cabinet waiting for you to do
So who got
something
the worst
else.
attitudes then?
Sagittarius is like, would you get over this already?
Really?
We already discussed this. We didn't got to a solution.
I think Virgos are like that too, ain't they? They just move on to the next thing.
It can be. Every sign has a dark and a and a light side. We can't ever say like what's the worst, who's the worst. You know, we all if you're operating from a good place as a Leo, you're gonna take on the good attributes of a Leo. If you're not, you're gonna take on the pettiness and all the holding on to stuff.
Chill out.
Please move on to another side. Let's talk about something down here.
Exactly.
He over there soaking this
I'm
up.
in the room, people.
Let's talk about somebody that ain't here, please.
Exactly. So that's interesting though. So we got that the sun, we have the moon, which is
Yes.
your emotional connection, and then we
Yes.
have your rising. Now,
Absolutely.
I always say this about emotions. Emotions control a lot of things we do. So it's interesting to hear about this other side of us. And the reason that's interesting to hear about, because think about it when you date. Like that's what he was saying. She wants to know about your moon. She wants to know about your emotions and where they're at, because that's a key thing. So maybe that's why I can get with some Geminis and I get along with them, and some I don't, because their emotions are like out of whack.
For sure.
Or I'm sorry, let me correct myself. Not out of whack, but they're not compatible with my emotions. My emotions could be not compatible with theirs. So it's something that you kind of like never really pay attention to, but it's like that old, 70s thing guy with the shirt open with the, gold chain. Hey, what's your sign? You
Yeah.
need to ask that question more often. What's your sign? What's your, sun sign, your rising sign, and of course, sun
moon.
sign, moon sign, and your right, moon being the most important. And then maybe strike up a conversation that way. That way you'll know if that person's going to be your friend, your enemy, or y'all going to be later on at night.
Promiscuous.
Shots fired.
She said, open up the phone line. So she got to be heard.
Yeah.
Who's that, Chris?
Yeah.
No, we don't have phone lines yet. Sorry. We don't have that. No, we don't do phone lines yet, Chris.
Yet.
Exactly. Time with phone lines. What we look like?
Chris, I just want to know, what did he do to not deserve the hug? That's all I want.
No, he opened it up as a business deal. I can say that. I know
What
who
does
she
that
is.
mean?
He opened it up with a very strong business deal.
I didn't know who she was when she walked in the door, so I go just be hugging somebody. We got to have a connection first.
And I can say Libra women are protective as well. All the Libra women that I know, they're very protective of me and others that they love. So she probably thought she had a foul spirit. And
So you had to get to know her before you gave her a hug? Is that?
She probably didn't.
I just figured that she'd probably get to. I mean, when you walk into a room, group of black folks, right? I'm a Leo, so I'm gonna immediately speak to everybody.
Absolutely.
But I'm gonna give everybody a certain type of respect. You see a woman walk. I mean, this is me talking from a single man's point of view.
Yeah.
You see a woman walk into a room, you don't know who she's with, who she represents, and you don't even know exactly what level of intimacy she's been around. You mess around, hug her. She mess around, have orgasm. Like,
What's the problem?
I just hugged her. I don't know what the hell that's the problem. Exactly.
That's great.
So you gotta take that.
She should say thank you.
Hey, I'm a Leo. I'm just saying. You know what I mean?
There you go.
That's confidence. But you just don't know what situation you get into, so you gotta be careful. You shake a hand when you meet a female. I mean, dudes, come on.
That makes sense.
You gotta shake a hand when you meet a female, or if you do get that point of view where you can actually give them a hug, then go ahead, give them a nice little hug. But I gave. What'd she say? I know Chris says.
I'm gonna throw my holy water on his bald head.
No.
She wanted to say bald headed ass.
I know. I bet. I see. Chris don't like me, y'all. We're gonna start a GoFundMe.
Get off to a good start, huh?
We need a GoFundMe account for Chris to like me. All right. So enough of the crazy stuff, but let's be honest here. So we didn't broke down emotionally what you gotta be looking for, which some of y'all just don't pay attention to, which makes so much sense to look for something emotionally. But on the other side, the flip side of it, we talked a little bit about how you're raised and who you're raised by. Now, interesting enough, I was telling you guys I was raised by a Virgo. That's why I probably have a very soft side for Virgos. And right now I'm raising my son. His birthday, of course, is October 20th, which is what?
He could be a Libra.
A Libra?
That might be close to the cusp.
So
I'm not sure.
So think about this. When we talk about relationships, think about the people as parents that are listening, obviously. Think about the kids you're raising. How important that might be to understand their emotional side. And also understand their emotional side may also dictate how you speak to them and when you speak to them and what level of attention you give them for things that they're excited about. Now, I know we talk a lot about relationships, and we always make it around dating men and women, but sometimes you got to look at things that you do that will affect, other relationships that aren't intimate relationships. So I have to look at those signs myself and kind of go back and look at my son and my daughters and see what their emotional state is, and then kind of get a better understanding, which I would pretty much advise a lot of you guys to go out there and do, along with, if you're going to be dating anybody, know their emotional side. So we did talk a little bit about the men and the women and the differences, and we talked a little bit about what we see in the differences of obviously, as John was saying, Capricorn men and dating Cancers. I know for me, and the signs that I date and the ones I try to stay away from, because I haven't been across the board. But I do have one slight horror story that doesn't include a Gemini. I dated I want to say it's December 15th? What is that?
That's a Sag.
No fucking wonder.
Don't play yourself now.
I'm just going to tell you the straight up honest truth.
Watch it.
You want to know?
Chris gonna come for you. Chris gonna come for you.
I love you. I did like that.
In the comments. That'll be LM in the comments.
Use your move right now.
Y'all got on Duke last time. It's gonna be LM in the comments. So this young lady I dated, I'm gonna say this. I don't know if it's the Leo in me that just, I guess all men are very visual. I'm a very visual dude. And she was beautiful. And it dropped, boom, gorgeous to me. So the conflict we had was, oh my gosh, it was just like you act. I just thought about that. It's just like you act. No, oh my gosh. You're going to get elbow to the head.
You'll be wearing an eye patch next time.
No, so
baby.
this is the thing. She was the type of person that would not necessarily joke around, but say things and not care about how she said it to me. Her tone was always
I'll be like,
off. It used to blow my mind.
They're
And
sensitive though. So
I was about to say, I'm
you
sensitive.
internalized.
Oh my! One day
That's
we
your
were.
way of perceiving.
Yeah, sorry.
There ain't no how I receive it. Y'all was mean. Ain't no way. No, mean
no,
is mean.
no.
I don't receive. Mean is mean.
See, because you a guy, it should come off harsh, right?
I can't
Suck it up all the
See, the
time.
thing is, y'all can't accept the same way that y'all give it out. You can't accept it back.
If that's the way you
But
give it
that's
out,
the thing.
though. If that's
Y'all
the way
were
you
like
give
that.
it out, though.
Oh my gosh! I see you in her and her. And you. Oh my god! So
You ruined my chance, girl.
it's all in there. I see it.
Oh my
so let me
God.
tell you what really happened. So this is a good explanation of how it would go down. We went to a store one time, right? And it was a store with bedding equipment and stuff like that all up in there. And I was looking at some sheets and things like that. And she was looking at dresses or whatever. And I'm like, hey, I'm about to go upstairs and go look at something else. She's like, so? I was like, Close? How dare you say so like that? Well, madam, I would like to know if you want to
Oh
come
my
with
God.
me.
That is
You know, I'm asking in advance. I don't want you to be lost.
no. You know what you probably did. You probably
That's
dismissed her
funny.
earlier than that, and she shut down on you.
She said so, and so I'm gonna try on some dresses. Go do what the hell you gonna do.
Exactly. You
She said all
probably
that?
dismissed
You, yes, you know what I
She
did.
probably didn't
like
say so.
I walked.
Oh, went upstairs with your hurt feelings?
Oh my gosh, Swan! I went up to.
probably said
I was so upset. No, don't let you that.
Like a Cape Police.
Why'd I come back downstairs like you shouldn't talk to me like that?
I'd like to talk to you, real right now.
We gotta have a conversation.
I want to speak to you.
No, we're not buying anything out the store yet. We're gonna have a conversation right now about this here and now. Young lady, put those clothes down.
I gotta get this off my chest right
And
now.
I started talking to her about it. You know what she said?
So?
She doubled down, dog.
Jerk.
She doubled down on me. I was like, oh.
She stuck. At least she stuck with it. So if she was gonna be a jerk, she stuck with it. She didn't change.
But you know what though? But one thing she did, I guess, later on, obviously, like I said, I'm visual, so I mean, how far I'm gonna walk away from a beautiful woman. But she later was like, okay, I get it, but that's how I talk to my friends. I don't really mean anything by it. I wasn't really being, but her tone, and that's the thing that threw me off, is the tone of how she said it. I didn't get, and I'm a Leo, so I try to maybe. And she used to call me passive aggressive all the time, which always bothered the shit out of me. I'm not passive aggressive, or am I? I don't know. Am I? What do you think? No, I'm not passive aggressive. I was being passive aggressive.
I don't think so.
But that's what she was doing to me all the time and tell me, oh, you're passive aggressive, you're not. I'm like, well, no, I don't think so. But I guess for me, that was like a horror story. And I remember her birthday because I was like, I might stay away from December, just personally.
Just the whole month period.
The whole month.
That's all it took was that one little.
Because it was, you know what's so terrible about it? It goes to the whole sensitive side about Leos. So we have so much love we want to give, but we have to give it where we feel it's being received. So I wanted so much to give her so much love, but then when she would hit me with the tone and just the dismissive and smart ass comments, and I'm like, real talk. I'm like, why you talking to me like that? I'm like, why? We ain't. I feel like one of them African dudes. Why you speak to me like that?
You know what that is though? We know that Leo men are used to getting what they want, and they're used to treating women in a way that they receive favor. And so Sagittarius women's not going for that. So we see you, you're not going to treat us that way.
But
if we get a hint of that,
what about
What I do to you?
But that's okay.
No,
So
I'm just saying. In my experience, even dealing
that would
with
be the rule. I mean, okay, that's what you guys look out for. But what about maybe that guy, that person wasn't the same as the other people that you might have met?
Well, I don't judge all Leo men based on my experience with another one because there's growth and conditioning and environment that comes into that. Like the Leo man that I know, compared to him, they're pretty much the same because they've both grown and established themselves and been through. They've done it all. I don't know what you've done in your life, but
You basically said he did it all.
Yeah, so like you've done it all. So that growth is there, but someone who hasn't. They are just slinging it, wherever it may land, and confident that it's going to land to where they want. So
First of all,
those are looking at me just like, don't even.
That sounds disgusting. First of all, that sounds very disgusting. I don't think I'm gonna sling anything on my body where it's gonna land anywhere weird.
You didn't have to take it there.
I'm just saying. You said sling it. I'm not a.
We were right here.
Oh my God.
Where it may land.
So
First
that
of all, it shouldn't go
fire,
anywhere. I'm not going.
Disaster disastrous, or it can be, something great, but it takes growth and understanding. And we're very big on being honest and being forthright.
I mean, and think about it, like fire is the one element that's like super vulnerable because it needs something else to feed it to exist.
Okay, I feel you.
It has to be fed by something. It has to, like a flame can just go, I just want to be a flame, and just like no, like it needs some air to feed it, or it needs some some roughage or something to eat and grow on. Like it has to have something else.
So Sagittarius are fire.
Yep, and so are Leos.
And Leos are fire.
And
so
Aries
burning
as
together.
well.
So that's why someone like myself would get along with a Virgo, or obviously a Scorpio. No.
Scorpio, you just like Scorpio.
Are they fire or what's Scorpio? They're water.
I don't know if they. That's the point. That's why we like Scorpios.
Wait a minute. So let's. Okay, first of all, all Scorpios are not freaky.
That's true.
Just
the one. That's true. All of them are not. But
what about sexual? I don't mean necessarily.
Okay, freaky. Yeah, you're right. Let's keep our titles
right. You don't
right.
have to be like freak.
So I will say this:
compatibility.
Out of my dating, once I've realized that Scorpios were even when I went online and online dating, I would actually narrow it down to Scorpios. I'd actually choose Scorpios. Like, I mean, that's how I'd actually go date. Because I'm like, I want to date something. I mean, at my age, if I'm dating somebody online, I ain't got no time to play around. So I want exactly what I want. So I used to narrow it down that way too. But of the last, I guess, few relationships I've been in, they've been pretty much all Scorpios because it's just been that type of vibe that I've been feeling with them. And it's been, and that's not even necessarily a relationship. There's more maybe even saying just people that I vibe with and have been out with and have spent a lot of time with. It's been Scorpios. And that's just, I don't know, you find your sweet spot. I mean,
I want to have a Scorpio moon.
I gotta go check out my moon.
I'm
gonna check out my
water
for my emotional side.
See,
I didn't think about that. I don't know what my moon is.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
I'm educated today.
Y'all ain't got nobody y'all like completely like hit, and y'all was like, the hell with that sign. Besides, we ain't gonna pick on Gemini anymore.
For me, it was a Leo.
Really?
It was just too sensitive. Like, it took everything personal. Like, everything isn't about you. Like, me coming at you in a way that makes you uncomfortable isn't necessarily about you. It might be, I'm in a weird space.
Okay.
And I just am having a bad day. And you take it personal.
And you take it out on me.
And then you hold on to it forever. Like, but it's like, no, I adore you. I'm just having a bad day right now. Like, why are you taking everything so personal? Like, I couldn't, and I'm just not patient with that type of energy. I'm just not patient with that. Like, I don't want to have to take care of you, like, emotionally. Like, take care of yourself. Like, I take care of myself, like, emotionally.
First of all, church choir don't need to jump in on that. Church choir jump in. Amen.
And when my feelings are hurt, I step back and I look at myself, like, what's up? Then I'm feeling so impacted by this person. Right. The Leo I was with had a really hard time with that. And it was just something I just didn't have patience for it.
It's almost amazing when I'm listening to this because I'm thinking about all relationships I've been in and not knowing the in-depth nature of what we're talking about now and thinking about the way I've received people or the way I've been received by people based on my sign. And like I said, it sounds crazy when someone says, what's your sign? But think about everything we're talking about right now and how it kind of just makes so much sense of why you didn't, not necessarily got along with this person, but your connection with this person at a certain time in your day or your month or your week was not going to connect with the other person because of what's the thing called? Love languages? Mm-hmm. It's kind of like you got to know so much. You got to know love languages. Yeah, you got to know signs. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you out here dating or even if you're in a relationship, you need to know all this stuff about somebody because it's just going to play such an important role. Like how stronger you can be knowing that a Capricorn is when they snap on you and about you. You can give them their space and be like, all right, cool. Mm-hmm. You know, and give them some time and not feel unloved. Right. Like us Leos don't want to feel. And it's good to know how Sagittarius, their tone might not be what you think it is. Mm-hmm. Like, I can take it the wrong way. I can understand that now. Except if your name is Chris. I'm not taking it the wrong way.
She just said she likes her new virtual Capricorn friend.
Oh.
See, she's sweet.
She's gonna give me a hug.
Exactly.
Right,
That's exactly
right.
what
You
I'm
wanna
thinking.
embrace
Give her a hug.
the hug
See how that works?
She probably gonna send a hug through the hug emoji. That's all right, Chris. I can't even get a hug emoji, huh? That's cool. And Libras are what again? What are Libras? Fire, earth, what are they? Air. See, Chris might be the only one I don't get along with. I don't know. I can't think of that many Libras.
I think you would get along with Chris if Chris would have hugged you.
I think so too. So wait a minute, what month is
You have that
Libras?
expectation? October.
October? So my son was probably Libra then.
Right, but it's at the end, so I don't know
Isn't that in
when
between?
Libra stops. Yeah, like
Okay.
I'm not sure.
22nd.
Usually, like the signs end about
Yeah,
like
hug
between like the
emojis.
19th and the
She
22nd.
said she hug emojis, by the way.
Oh,
Got 4. You just met her. Damn. You got 4 hug emojis?
You can even get a virtual emoji.
You was not gonna sleep tonight. You gonna have problems sleeping tonight.
I am.
It's terrible.
4 hug. How can you get a hug emoji? Can't you at me with 1 hug emoji? At least give me the no, don't give me the handshake emoji. That's just being mean.
You already got that one.
You're just taunting me at that point. But no, like I was saying, it's just so interesting about your relationships and knowing how they connect and different things, knowing the emotional connection and stuff like that. And I know everyone else is out there has some bad relationship stuff that happens. So do me a favor, share with us now while we keep the conversation going about a particular sign you want to know about or a particular thing that happened that you want to share with us. And you got to be okay with us sharing it on. Actually, goes to that same question about Capricorn men, because their question was what? Why are Capricorn men so emotional?
not emotional.
Not emotional.
But they are. You know what I'm saying?
So that was Miko Green's question. Then we found out Duke is also a Capricorn, and y'all felt that he
Let me
wasn't.
see how many terrorists were Capricorns.
Wow, we went that far with it. We gonna make him a terrorist? Just so that's
They bottle things in and then it just explodes.
They do.
So
They
I'm
be
just wondering.
yeah.
I would be interested to know, like the Oklahoma City bomber.
And you just gonna just categorize just like
when you're dating someone,
That
you
was
bring
rather
somebody
fast
into
how we
your
got to that point.
space.
No,
You need
no.
to
I bet
know.
you he wasn't a Capricorn because Capricorns are too practical. We're too safe. We're like
I keep
fearful.
forgetting you're a Capricorn. I don't want to offend
No, that's okay.
men.
I'm not.
But
I'm just-
remember, Capricorn women
We're-
are
no, but
different.
yeah,
so.
fearful. There is a fearful sign. Like you're not going to take extreme risk like that. I doubt it very seriously.
My son is
Very
very,
seriously.
calculated.
Yeah, very
He is
like
not an outside of the box.
everything is
He's like,
planned.
hey,
Everything is strategy. Like what are we doing too much?
Y'all hear this?
Crazy stuff.
You talking
My God.
about terrorists?
I don't think he was a
That
terrorist.
makes sense.
I want to know now though.
I do.
So
too.
Duke, if you listen and chime in,
What
we
did
want.
he was in the military, right? I think.
Nah, he played ball, though.
He played ball.
What about
Like a
my
drill
guy Malone chiming in from Chicago? He want to know about Aries. What y'all think about Aries men?
I'm sure more terrorists are Leos. Oh, terrorists are Leos.
Aries men.
Really, yo? toy?
I like Aries men.
You hear that, Malone?
I like them, but they're very traditional in their values, like in terms of role of male and female. Like
Oh, okay.
very-
But is that a good thing or bad
It
thing?
can be good. It just depends on your personality.
They're not
Like me,
even-
I'm not uncomfortable with that. You know, like I'm okay with like those roles.
Oh,
So
no,
that's
but
fine.
okay. So Aries is I know it's March. So I know it's birthday.
In April, yeah.
It's March and April. Okay, so y'all ever dated any Aries? You ever dated any Aries men?
No.
I date everybody.
You date everybody? Twan?
And y'all
what's the
talking
word?
about Sagittarius.
No.
You ain't gonna say the word? You ain't gonna say the word? Oh, wait, look. I'm too close. She hit me. You gotta say the word from over there.
I don't know if I did the Aries or not. I just date people. Oh, what's your sign? I don't care nothing about that. Till later.
Remember their birthday?
Till later. What?
That wasn't important to him, I see.
I mean,
You ain't make it to their birthday,
years,
though.
I can't remember all of their birthdays, so
You ain't make it to none of their birthdays, huh, bro? That's how you feel?
you know what?
I'm just,
Don't judge me.
I ain't judging. So Aries men can be traditional with
They're
the
traditional.
roles.
They're dependable. Everybody can cheat, but I feel like they're less likely to cheat. They're not like cheaters.
You hear
But
that?
everybody can cheat.
But are they boring?
Absolutely.
They're boring.
No.
Wow!
Sorry.
You tell me you're Aries, but not like
They are
Wow!
boring.
Where did boring come from? That came from somewhere from you.
They're
Where'd that come from?
That was
You
in your inner.
No, that's just.
You just guessed they were boring?
I know. I asked her.
Oh, I thought
They're
that was
very,
a guess.
when you're looking at someone being very traditional, like
They
routine
can be
things and
boring.
stay on the straight and narrow. Sagittarius is like, no, we're not staying on this straight line.
No,
if
you all are
just go
the wild
way too
children
spontaneous
of the
and stuff.
fire
Yeah.
side.
But we're very loyal and we get very dismissive and
You're misunderstood.
yes.
Sagittarius are misunderstood.
You don't
That's my best
I think we
friend
all
is
misunderstood.
Sagittarius.
Yeah,
And she be coming at me so sideways sometimes. I just be looking at the text like, okay.
But what I appreciate
I
about
believe
my
that
friends,
I
they
think
tell me straight up like that was out of line. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. They're very honest with me.
And then
I
you all are really
appreciate that.
accountable. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you're not like in denial about it. Like,
Yeah.
if you do something wrong, like, you like, okay, yeah, I did. I probably said that the wrong way or whatever.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that about Sagittarius. Because you all can kind of be rough around the edges.
So how is this in your knowledge of, I mean, because like I said, I had to get you on the show because I know you were talking on your side of the show about, you know, the zodiac signs and astrology and things like this. Now, how has this helped your relationships, this knowledge that you've kind of, this research you've done?
You know,
I mean relationships as far as personal, business, all across the board.
I look at it all the time. Like in any type of interaction I have with people, I want to know what their signs are. Right now I'm a substitute teacher. My kids be acting up. I'll be like, what's your sign, boy? Like, young boy, I want to know. I knew it. I knew you were whatever, an Aries.
Shout out to the teachers out there doing great work.
See, and I can't be a teacher.
Right, but I'm just a sub. So I'm just a fun
That's still
babysitter
good,
person
though.
who comes in.
So you ain't stressed out then. You
I'm not.
You was here for a day or two. So.
Exactly. And when I don't feel like working, I don't come in. But like it informs like all of my decisions. It's not like I won't talk to you if you're a certain sign. But like it just gives me a bit of information. But my background is psychology, so I'm always looking for ways to kind of categorize people and understand people. So for me, it's more of like interesting
I see
information.
you carry.
Okay.
I don't like wake up and read a horoscope or anything like
No,
that.
I
I
get
just find it like it's intriguing to me.
Oh, I asked. Like when I found out he was a Leo and he was a Taurus, I'm like, oh god.
That means
I had to stay on my own because these two right here think they know everything.
But you see, this
No, that's
panel
not
is
true.
balanced. We got
Yeah.
fire, earth. Like this is a very
you
balanced.
get a lot of love
panel.
No,
from
he-
the Taurus.
Yeah.
very
Balanced
cool,
panel.
very cool. He's very quiet and calm. And this one here, he's just all over the place.
That's why we best friends, though.
I
You know
dig
this?
that, and I dig him too because it's a great balance. So
Mhm.
For sure.
So the next thing, I guess, well, Carrie had a question about moon sign and Sag. I don't know what that exactly was. I guess you just want to know what the moon sign is for Sag, or you have to know.
You
the
have
date
to
of-
know, you have to know the time you were born, and you all can look this up on astrosofA.com.
Okay.
It literally will take you 2 minutes, and if you look up your moon, I can talk to you more about that. So just look it up. You just have to know what time you were born and where you were born. That's
I
all.
think so. She said,
So-
"Can knowing a person's sign sabotage a first encounter?"
Mm.
I think so.
I think
I
definitely.
think it can.
Prejudgment?
Yeah.
Prejudge.
For sure.
Prejudge.
That is true.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, like I
You
said,
didn't even give them a chance. You just automatically went to their side
Hey.
and assumed.
when I was online dating, like I said, I used to separate it just by the actual Scorpios or Virgos because I didn't want to mess around and get nothing that's gonna get on my damn nerves. So,
Gemini, I swipe left on him real quick, or right.
So-
Deny him real quick.
so speaking about your relationships and everything like that, and we were talking about your background. Let's talk about. I know this is gonna sound like it doesn't connect, but I think it does. The mental health aspect of because, like you said, knowing someone's sign.
Yeah.
So when I talk about that, I'm thinking to myself, like me as a Leo, and as you guys basically just broke me down as best you can about being
Brother,
sensitive.
come on, man.
You never invited
Come on,
me
we're
back.
gonna hold on to
It's
this.
over.
We're gonna hold on to it forever.
She's never coming back.
So with that being said, in the background that you have, how much of a role did that play? Knowing the signs and going, okay,
Yeah.
I understand I'm dealing with a sensitive Leo, so maybe you would tell me, hey, you know what? How you see things?
Yes.
You're a little bit too.
Let me tell you something. People are so resistant, especially in our community, to like mental health and getting help for that. That sometimes it's easier to help them to experience like a change or like a cognitive shift by talking about their signs. People are more open to that.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
You know what
I
I'm
see
saying?
that. I see that.
Oh, it's a way
It's easier to
in.
understand.
It's easier. Like, people don't want to.
Nobody
Do
wants to
all
be
that
the
research.
nobody wants to be the
Learn
only one.
terms
They don't
and
wanna
things
be
They don't
Yeah.
want to be the only one. But if you talk, I guess if you talk about it in the sign,
But if you talk about it that
it's
way,
more.
exactly.
Oh, it's not just me. It's
Exactly.
not people like this.
For sure, like this tomorrow actually, I'm doing a live broadcast of my own about the emotional challenges of your moon sign and how to overcome it.
Check it
But
out, guys.
It's really just talking about mental health. Like I'm talking about all the same things that I speak with my clients in like psychotherapy about, but I'm just applying it to the moon signs.
Yeah.
And people like enjoy that. And I feel like, you know, in terms of your mental health, however you can get there, it's how you get there. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever it takes to touch you, to change you, you know, I'm willing to do that. And, you know, people experience a lot of changes by considering, like, okay, well, yeah, I can be a little bit, you know, stubborn because I'm a Capricorn. Maybe people are more open to that.
More
than me
rational.
saying, exactly. They're not as defensive about their sign. Because, like, well, this is something I can't control.
It's
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah,
Easy
but
to
if I
get
just say, oh,
defensive.
you're depressed, or I am depressed, you know, but I can say, oh, you're, you know, earth signs, Capricorns can be a little bit moody. Yeah, I can't.
That approach,
I
it's
can't
the
be
approach.
moody.
It's all in the approach. You're
One of
right.
that,
That's
when
different.
when you single people out and put them into a group of their own,
For
it
sure.
makes them seem like there's something wrong with them, then they seem to, you know, deny it or reject the possibility of something being off or different.
For sure.
So when you put them in a category where they're not alone or with other people who are like-minded, even successful actors or whoever, they tend to be more open to change and listening to what
Absolutely.
is wrong with
I
them.
mean, and that's like you teach kids.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I think about the whole situation. It's like when you're in school. You know, nobody wanted to be the odd dude. Nobody wanted to be the nerd. Nobody wanted to be the one that wasn't in the crew or the one that get picked on or get bullied. Nobody wanted to be that way.
Yeah.
But once you do it that way, it does kind of resonate when you put it that way.
For sure.
Wow. Why aren't we taught this when we were kids, though, if you think about it? I mean, there's a lot of things we're not taught, especially like money and stuff like that, but understanding where you're at emotionally, that might also interrupt some of the medications you put kids on based on knowing this type of stuff. You think that's...
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Medications,
Absolutely. Yeah, I have students in my classes where it's a nurse that comes to class and gives them medication in the middle of class. And it's just kind of like, you know, to me, like alternative method, like, you know, meditation, teaching them like deep breathing, just teaching them like emotional regulation, like skills, teach them skills. Don't just medicate
Breathe.
away.
Breathe. Step away.
Teaching kids to be accepting of who they are and be honest
Yes,
with
and
themselves.
people are different.
Yeah.
Like the
They are.
school environment is not for everyone.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
So it's not a gimmick. When people talk about signs, it's not like you're just reading that newspaper article, what's going to happen in your day. It's actually something that really affects a lot of different things, what we're saying. It affects your relationships, it affects your mental health,
For sure.
and it also plays a role in everything you do. And I guess the next thing I want to get into, and I'm not too familiar with it, but I always hear people say, oh, your moon is this or whatever is rising, and I had no clue what they were talking about.
Retrograde.
Yeah, what is retrograde?
Oh, that retrograde.
Because it's something serious.
I didn't hear retrograde. What is that?
Right.
You know, is that paint?
I don't know
Yeah.
that much about it, but from what I've read, I have experienced a shift in a lot of different things during
Yes,
this
during
year.
retrograde. Yeah.
Is it during a year, during a month? Because for those who don't know, I don't know.
This is Mercury now.
So what
Is it right now? I don't even want to know.
I had
I
to
would
look
like
up
to
to
know.
like, why am I? Because there's certain things that are going on. I'm like, why is this happening? Like, you have to be aware. You have to be open to your environment, and you have to pay attention. Every time I see the number 1111, I screenshot it wherever I am
For
for the
sure,
picture.
yeah.
And it's been happening so
Why?
much because it means something.
It does.
And you have to be aware of what you're
We
thinking
see those
about, who
numbers.
you're thinking about, where you're at during that time. So I take that. I don't share exactly what I'm, looking at or whatever is going on at that time with other people because they can interrupt.
So you
that.
can just have your normal day, but then for some reason at 11:11, it
And
just comes up and you
it's-
see it.
Might just pop up, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, why? And I'm just looking at my
Am
phone.
I
Like a
seeing
lot of
this?
times
Yeah.
I'm looking at my phone. It's just like, why did I see it now? I wasn't
Or so
intentionally looking for the
consistently looking.
time. And it'll be a consistent time. And what I found is for me, and I don't know why at this time, but it's like the moments when I'm experiencing like gratefulness or joy.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what am I thinking about right now? Hurry up and think about it. Take a screenshot or whatever. And I'm like, here it is.
Yeah.
But there's other things that happen, like issues with my car or breakdown in communication with a coworker or different things that are happening during retrograde. I'm like, wow, I did not pay attention to this before.
Yeah.
And
And see,
it's
I don't know
just
what all that stuff
That's
is.
why I don't
Retrograde.
keep track
I've
of
never heard of
I don't,
that.
because I don't like to feel that
Retrograde.
way.
It's bedtime now.
Yeah, interesting. See, for me,
Alignment, that's what I'm, yes.
alignment. Oh,
I like Carrie. We're
Carrie,
going
that's
to talk
my
about
girl.
this moon and Sagittarius because we're very
But she's a Libra.
But
But her
I think
moon
she's
is a
moon
Sag.
Sagittarius.
Oh, her moon is a Sag.
So, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that's
So
So you got two sides.
So anybody
three
else
sides in
experience
one.
that 11:11? I mean, not 11:11 because I'll be honest, mine is 12:34. Like I literally see 1, 2, 3, 4, and to me it's like, oh shoot, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Have you looked it up?
No.
You gotta look it up.
Hold on, where you look up that
You
stuff?
just say what meaning of 1, 2, 3, 4.
Really?
That's it.
Google.
Google. Google it.
Are y'all listening to this? This is stuff that honestly we probably experience and don't think much of it. Just kind of like how
That's
we say,
important.
Or think it's just us.
yeah, it's just
Oh,
me.
that kind of
But I
stuff.
literally, when I see 1, 2, 3, 4, it's like, okay, good, my day's going good for me. And it's interesting because you were just at level 11 and how you felt. But I'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'll know, yep, the day is moving the way it should be. Because anybody tells that they hang around me, my day is like this. And the minute, for some reason, I don't know why I'd be looking at the clock, I'll see 12:34. I'm like, yep, 1, 2, 3, 4. Everything's in my brain. Everything's going in order.
Yeah.
People
That's
can
how I look
tell
at it.
when you're like on a, what do you call it? When you're kind of like on a single path where you don't see anything else outside of that. Because everything he says or does is kind of like in one way. It's like you're going to break out of that mindset and say something funny or something, break out of that mental funk, or is it just business 24 hours? And you can see that in different people when they're doing that.
That's interesting. I'm gonna look up the number thing.
Look it up. I see 3s a lot. I have a 3 on my ankle. I have a tattoo.
What does that
of a
represent
3.
for you?
3 is the Trinity. It's the Holy Trinity, and I'm not like super religious, but
That's another
I fool
thing.
with
We
it.
can't
I
get into
enjoy
right
it.
now.
Oh, no, that's another
That's
show.
something
I want to get into
Yeah.
it. I have Christians in my family who are like, you talk about numerology and astrology. Like, did you read your Bible? Did you read it?
God
Did
created,
you not
he created
create
all
this
things.
universe?
Like so, but
Yes.
3s are my thing. 33 I feel like was like the best age.
Okay, that's God's age. That's Jesus when he became
He was crucified.
Crucified, 33, yeah.
At 33, for
Yeah.
sure. I feel like that's a magic age. That age,
Okay.
33. I have 3 daughters.
Okay.
Yeah, I just like the number 3, but I see it a lot. I see
Interesting.
333 a lot, or 33 quite a bit.
LM, what you see?
I don't recall.
Seeing zeros.
We speak of numbers. The number I see all the time is 12.
Oh.
But I don't see like you guys 3 and 4 numbers or whatever. But
And you
12.
can't help
12?
12.
Oh,
12, that's it.
Look it
We
up.
need to look this up.
Nothing is by coincidence.
I always thought
No.
in my head these things are like, honestly, boy, yeah, you be thinking about some dumb stuff. Man, go sit down.
No.
No, these are
I just think that some things you just thinking crazy, just whatever.
And I know some of you guys are probably saying, what are they talking about? Or probably agreeing, like, oh my gosh. And the thing about it is, with me, and a lot of people don't realize this about me, is I am a curious person. And I watch a lot of stuff, I research a lot of stuff, and interesting we're talking about this whole number thing, but we're going to have a show eventually about doomsday prepping, and people are going to say, what's doomsday prepping? That's some ish that I really worry about, that this world one day is going to come to us crazy, whatever, not an end, because we can't, the world ain't going to come down to us here, it's going to end well after we're gone. But something's going to happen. I always think about the stuff we're talking about now. So like Twan was saying he sees 12, Latoya sees 3s, of course, and then 11, from Autumn. And I also was thinking about that movie. You guys ever saw that movie 23 with Jim Carrey? Really? Am I the only person?
I haven't seen that.
I remember seeing it. I don't remember all the details.
This is when he got the deep Jim Carrey, because he
Yes.
started doing some
That-
really
That's when he stopped
being
funny.
That's
He
when
started
they
taking
started.
those
See, that's when
serious
they-
roles.
Yes.
No, 'cause he's
And-
deep now.
23.
23 was a movie about a number that he would
He's
see,
deep
and
now.
23 was in
I
every
love
single
Jim
thing.
Jim Carrey is deep.
Yeah, 23 was a number in every single thing he saw. Like he could say he sees this and this equals 23. So that was so deep to me because I saw that movie. I think to myself, is that? And in my brain, I'm thinking, could that really happen? Is that real? Or is that like, what is it? Because movies are connected to
I
reality.
need a notepad. I'm going to see that movie, 23. How long ago did that come out?
Oh, that had to be at least maybe 15
I'll
years
take a
ago.
look at that. Thank you.
That's
Yeah.
when his whole on-scene presence just switched. That's when
he
they
stopped
escalated
being-
him. Yeah,
He did like
that's when
all
he
those
shifted
movies
and
in
was
a
like, "I ain't got
row
time
where
for it."
he was not funny
But when you
At
look-
all.
When you
He
look
was
at
like
his,
real dark. I was scared.
you look at him on YouTube and follow
This
him.
ain't the Jim
He
Carrey
did
out
get
there.
kind of
He's a
scary.
spiritual dude.
He is
Yeah,
a
he is.
spiritual dude.
He
He
ain't
really
crazy.
is.
Remember
He
like
ain't
the
crazy.
man,
He
I think the
woke.
man on the moon? No, the cable guy.
Yes.
Cable guy. Wasn't
Yeah.
that him too?
Yeah, but the man on the moon, though,
Yeah, the man on the
they
moon,
said
too.
he took on that character.
Yeah.
for that whole
Somebody,
time.
look up what sign is Jim Carrey.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's
I
a
think
good
he's a
thing.
Capricorn.
Is he?
We got people.
That
Somebody look at
was a Leo with her right there.
That's
That's a Leo with her right
You don't need
there.
to do
Let
that.
us
We can have
know.
somebody.
Yes.
Somebody
Jim
chime
Carrey.
in. What is Jim Carrey sign?
And also check out the movie number 23 and when that movie came out. Because I want to say it had to be like 2001, maybe 99 or something like that, between that time frame. But that's a deep movie. And it's all about his whole, and then funny enough, it's about his mental health. And the number 20. Check that movie out if y'all ain't seen 23. I wish I could say
I
he was
will
getting
see
paid
that.
for it, but you just check it out anyway.
In your spare time.
But once again, like if you think about everything we're talking about and how the world's connected to it, how the shifts in the oceans, the shift in the crescent moon, the full moon, all this stuff affects us, and it's all connected. And it's also all connected if you think about your signs. And also another thing that probably is a little bit deeper than this particular podcast: when is the best time for you as a single, whatever your zodiac sign is, to be dating? Like, when is it a proper time to say, you know what, this particular season for me, I'll find the most or have the most optimum success? Does that ever come up for you? I mean, you married, so you ain't thinking about it.
I've been with my husband for 14 years.
Okay.
So I've been in a really long
it's been a while.
Yeah, you ain't thinking about
However,
Cut it off now.
However.
people change. He's been 8 different people and
Is he a Gemini?
in 14 years. He's been a lot of different people. He's a Pisces, Scorpio though. Scorpio moon.
Okay.
Very wavy, so that's double water for him. That's unfortunate. But
She said it's unfortunate.
Very unfortunate.
people change. You know what I'm saying? So it's a different person. So people who haven't been in long-term relationships kind of minimize what people who have been in those kind of relationships have to deal with. It's like, I got to deal with a different person every couple of years.
Yeah.
He does too. I met him, I was 22. We met on Black Planet.
We talked
about
that.
that.
They don't believe that that's a thing. Like that's possible. I think
meeting
that
and dating and falling in love. Yes, but that was back when it was more pure. It was more pure.
I was
Things have
never on
changed
Black
now.
Planet, but we talked about
I was
that
on
in
Black
our first
Planet.
episode,
So,
talking
yes.
about social media and how
Yeah.
that's completely just changed how we date, how we shop, how
Yes.
we eat, what we do, who we believe. I mean, we got doctors on social media, that we listen
We
to.
were pioneers. Okay, we were on Black dating.
MySpace talks about code.
Yes, that was the Black MySpace, Black Planet right
Black
there.
Planet.
And we met on there, and we're totally different people. I was 22. He was how old is he? He was 28, and now he's 42, and I'm 36. I'm a totally different person.
And see,
He's a
that-
totally different person.
That's a blessing.
That's a blessing. And
That's
also,
a
I'm thinking in
long
my brain, like,
blessing.
now y'all have heard me talk about this before, the definition of the word love. And this is an example. Like, whatever y'all had at 22 and 28, the definition that you guys had based on your experiences,
Definitely changed.
that changed.
Definitely.
So when
changed.
people talk to me about, I love you, I'm like, no, you love me the way you can love me. You don't love me maybe the way I want you to love me.
Yeah.
And your love may not actually evolve into loving me when I change.
My question is always why? Why do you love me?
Oh,
And I don't think there should be a definite answer. There should not be a defined answer to why you love someone.
Why
If you're
not?
in a relationship or you're married, don't tell me why you love me because that can be changed. I mean, there's conditions to it,
For
and
sure, it's
Exactly.
conditional. Yes.
I don't want that.
But that
Don't
might
tell
give
me.
you, but at the same time, that might give you an idea, like he said, the definition of love can be anything. If you never know how that person perceives the way that they love you,
their experiences
Yeah.
growing up.
because a lot of people love, they may not even know what love is compared to what you
Right.
think it is. You might think it's a wholehearted thing. I give you everything and I do anything for you. That person might be thinking he might have had a rough life. He just thinks somebody that likes him,
Yeah.
I like you, and I'm loyal to
I
you.
don't,
So
I don't need to know. I don't want to intellectualize it. I want
Right.
to feel it.
Yes,
Love is
exactly.
a
It is-
feeling.
it is
It's a
an action
feeling.
thing.
Okay, I'll agree with you on that.
Yeah.
It's an action thing.
I agree with you on that.
It is an action thing.
Yeah.
I'd rather
You can say it all day, but if you
Right.
don't do it, it doesn't matter.
and see. I'd rather know trust beyond love. I want to get that trust going first before I start talking about love. So it's interesting when we talk about like these signs and everything we're talking about. It's also maybe another thing. Look into your sign and maybe your experiences, and maybe is there something in the signs that talks about maybe how they love, or is it connected to love languages? Maybe that's something probably separate from
They
this.
talk about how they love.
They do.
Yeah. They
Wow.
do. Yeah.
Do you know anything about yours? I know I can't ask about everybody's, but what about yours? Like, what is it for you?
Well,
and
Let's talk about my moon then.
okay,
You
yeah, that's the
know,
emotional
we're not
side.
gonna talk about Latoya the Capricorn. We're gonna
Let's
talk
talk about the
Latoya
moon.
the Pisces.
The Pisces.
As a Pisces, it's certain things that I need, emotionally. I need to feel free. I need to feel a radical acceptance from my
Okay.
partner. I need to be able to be creative, and you be supportive of me being creative.
What's that radical?
So-
Okay, when you say
Radical
free,
acceptance
but you also said free.
and
Radical
free.
can.
So that's kind of like, to me, like you want to. So this is why I'm interpreting what you're saying.
Okay.
You want to be out there without a leash.
See, that's what what is
I'm
wrong
just
with
saying. I'm a Leo. Learn how to love me. Learn how to love
Where did
me.
that come from?
Learn how to
Free out
love
there.
me.
Oh,
You want to be free out there without a leash,
Lord,
but then you want him to
Father.
accept the fact that what you're doing out there, he can trust you coming back. I'm a man, so we only think a certain way. I'm just beginning.
Well-
so in your brain, you're like, why is he going that direction? Because I'm a
No,
man.
I mean-
Remember we
Yeah.
talked about property and how
Yeah.
we looked at women as our property, not in a negative way. Just so that's when you said that. That's what
Yeah.
came in my head.
Right, but being together so long, you have to understand no one belongs to you. I'm choosing to. You say I don't even have a ring. We don't wear rings. Why? We don't need that. For what? You know what I'm saying? We just don't. We don't
She ain't
need
got a
it.
ring.
I ain't got a ring on.
Ring. But I was married, and that doesn't change that. You
See,
know what I'm
y'all got a
saying?
different spiritual connection then.
Right.
So
But it's been a long time.
y'all got that good
There's
shit.
plenty of people
Y'all got that good shit.
on some
It is
other
saying
with
it
rings
changed.
on. They got rings. They got ring in nose.
The
They
ring
got
is
the
more
ring. They
important
got
than
the
the man.
tattoo.
It's
on the
just
ring. They got
it's just a talking.
and they got all kind of stuff going on. It's about like the sincere connection.
I agree.
And that is radically accepting your partner and giving them what they need. And I need to be free.
So that brings me to another question, because now I'm more interested because of your sign, and that's how all this is going together. It's like different signs have different things, and obviously different connections. So, with that being said, about the whole thing with the ring, and what about last name?
I never changed my last name.
You mean you have changed it?
I've never changed it.
You're not his last name.
No, I have my own name.
So I'm talking. We're going to do more shows.
Different,
We need
but
more shows
you can
like this.
understand- I can understand her point of view, but I'm totally different on that point. And as far as, like you were saying, the man thinking that you want to be free and go out there and do whatever. Sagittarius women are very expressive. They're very much affectionate and
Possessive, a little bit.
yeah, we can be jealous
Mm-hmm.
because you're gonna know whose is ours and whose we are.
Yeah.
And you ain't gonna touch it because we
Yeah.
we come off like aggressive lionesses.
Yeah.
But when we're so much expressive and so I guess you can say possessive, that if you deny that trust or try to dishonor it,
Yes.
then it's like
Yeah,
Right.
for sure. And I'm the
Sometimes
same
you
way. And that's
question it.
flipping back to Capricorn, Toya. Like, if you give me a reason not to trust you, it's a different story.
yeah,
But if I can trust you, it's like, it's whatever.
all in, yeah.
Like,
It's just
I want to
interesting.
have to control a person. I want to be relaxed.
I
I want
agree.
you to be relaxed.
You don't
Like,
have to
that's
control
not
the person.
fun. And that's why people's marriages and relationships don't last. Like, you're trying to control. This is a person.
It's a grown
This is a separate
person.
human being. You don't
An adult-
merge.
an
You're not
adult
one
you're trying to control.
blob of a person.
Y'all hearing this? Y'all hearing this?
And you're two separate people. You have to respect me as an adult, and I have to respect you as an adult. And that's it. We respect each other, which means that I wouldn't do anything crazy because I care about you and I honor you and I respect you. That's it. That's all it
That
takes.
understanding has to
A
be
ring
there.
ain't gonna make that no difference.
I always
Me changing
say-
my name is not. I can have a different name, but I can have his last name and still be on
And
And
some.
all that can still
see,
be
for me, I'm
It
like-
means nothing. It's about who you like, the internal.
But society is made, and I hate to go this deep on y'all, but society is in this. I can only talk about how I've seen how society is on women. Society is made that women have to make this change, make this flip.
For sure.
They've made it to the point where you're a woman, you should be X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
You should have this, this, and this. And then
You should belong to someone.
Women actually hate on women more than anything else. I always see when it comes to I think I've said this before. Like you see a woman after 10 years, two women meet. The first question is, how many kids you got? Who you married to? And how much money is it making? How nice is your house?
For sure.
You see a dude after 10 years, like, what up, bro? You still hooping?
Exactly.
You know?
What you want this weekend?
Exactly. Or even initial meeting. Like, I always have to establish myself because I look so young. So it's like, I have a daughter who's 20. So I always have to.
Girl,
I have a daughter who's 20 years old.
you better go ahead.
She's a junior at UGA. So
Black girl
I
magic out here. Black don't crack.
I have to establish
You know
myself.
what I'm saying?
Some glitter over there.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
I have to establish myself because immediately,
Found the
like,
youth.
women's reactions to me when they don't know that, I don't like it. I don't
They
like it.
prejudge you.
Yeah,
That's
the
one
way
of
they
the,
try to, they come at me. It's like,
Maybe they look
I'm
at your
real
sign like we
wrong.
talked about earlier. They
I'm real
prejudge you.
wrong. y'all.
Somebody asked a question about women befriending other women versus men, like Sagittarius women. I have more male, well, I had because they either can't control themselves, but I'm more attractive to male friends than I am female friends because a lot of females are very insecure or have, preconceived notions about a woman, me or whoever, but especially with Sagittarius women, I've experienced that they think you're too open or that you're too friendly,
Yeah.
and that they can't trust you or whatever. I've had a woman, I've been good friends with her for years. and she tell me and other women who are Sagittarius she can't trust us around her man.
Wow.
And, you know, for me, I'm looking at, bitch.
That's a
But y'all friends.
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
What's wrong with
you?
you?
Like, okay, if you can't trust me, hey, we ain't talking no more. Don't even know you.
Yeah, I got time for that. That's crazy. That's
Yeah, based on her
Y'all was meant to be friends, exactly.
Right.
That's based on our experiences. Our experiences play a big role in what we believe. But it's crazy. Like, we gotta look at our experiences, then we gotta turn around and look at our signs. We gotta turn around and look at our emotional signs. We gotta turn around and look at our, how we communicate. And I know Duke, who keep hope alive, was talking about that last week. I did have a couple positive, quite a few positives talking about communication, and Duke did talk about a lot of communicating and how that's important.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you remember what was said by that text I showed you that was sent to me? That was probably some of the points, because we still don't know what Duke is, but I think she said.
I think
Capricorn.
somebody was assassinated.
He is a Capricorn.
Y'all leave Duke alone.
Duke out.
So do you remember what she said? Some of the key points why she didn't agree what he was saying, all that type of stuff.
What did she say?
I can't recall.
I know some of the feedback I got from the podcast when Duke was on was that he was very chauvinistic and contradicting to what he said. That he was very egotistical and closed-minded. And he was also very aggressive in his approach to the whole podcasting situation. And I don't know somebody said it.
You mentioned controlling too.
Controlling, very controlling. And which for me, at first we started going back and forth about the whole women and dating, thing. And then once he got to that point where you think you know everything, that's when I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's a Duke character.
What have you on with Duke eventually?
He sounds like he's just really a hurt person.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Stop coming for Duke.
But that's why I asked him. I said, did that relationship
They just made that assessment right now.
He sounds hurt.
He was jaded,
hurt
very
people,
jaded. Very jaded. So I don't think it's Capricorn men that are to blame. I think it's his past experience.
Right. It's layers.
Yeah.
It's layers.
There you go. That's the part I wanted to get
it's
to.
It's layers to
broken.
this. Because even when we're talking about the relationship piece, that's something different. Like, I meditate. I practice Buddhism and detachment.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm able to operate and function in my relationship the way that I am. Not necessarily because I'm a Pisces moon, but because I've trained myself to understand relating to people in a different way. Mm-hmm. I don't want that pain of trying to control. I used to be crazy. Crazy.
So I'm hearing you say detached. So I'm guessing in a sense that you're in love, part of something that's... Oh, don't worry about it. Just hit okay. Mm-hmm. Part of something. So at that point in time, if something, I'm just saying, if something were to happen, you can be detached and not feel like you've lost something because
sure.
Okay, so that then speaks to knowing who you are inside and who you are.
That's where that's the power. That's your ultimate power. And if you don't find that, you will suffer. Crazy. That's a source of suffering. I'm not gonna try to control nobody. Nobody but Toya. I control me. I don't try to control my kids. Yeah. I have a 20-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 13-year-old. I do not try to control them. I try to nurture them as individuals as in people. Try to guide them, but you're a person.
Right.
You're not an extension of me.
You're
another person,
It's amazing how deep we're going because we're talking about the signs, but then we kind of got that undertone of mental health and also acceptance of who you are. So learning about your signs gets you to a point of acceptance of maybe not who you are, but some characteristics that might be strong in you or other characteristics of someone else that you might be dealing with. So that's pretty interesting when you talk about, I always learn that if I learn myself the best, I can understand everyone else.
Yeah.
So learn yourself, understand who you are, why you do what you do, and be honest. If you lie, know why you lie.
That's the key right there.
Right.
Know why
yourself.
Know why you say
with yourself.
With your own self.
Know why you say what you do, and know why you have to have a certain image around other people that doesn't really matter to them. Are there any spots people can go to that you would recommend online that they can find out as deep as they can about the signs and things like that?
Definitely check out astralsofa.com. There you can go to calculate your moon and your rising signs, and they do a really good job of describing what those signs are and what they're like. And then it's just another tool to help you know yourself. Like you said, know thyself.
Yes.
And this is just one way to know thyself. It's layers. We've been talking about the layers. But this is just one way, but check that out, astralsofa.com.
So for those of you that are out there dating, obviously this is some good, helpful information because as you notice, our show has a theme. It's always about relationships. It's always about getting to know other people. Maybe not necessarily intimacy has to be a part of it, but at least you can build relationships and build connections with people a certain way. There are a lot of times you're on these different dating sites and you don't know what you're looking for. You don't even know exactly what you really want. But maybe if you narrow down who you are, maybe you know what you're more compatible with.
Yes.
And of course, give other signs a try. Try it out. I mean, most of us are ruled by our, I guess, visual, what we see, you know, and some of us aren't. You know, sometimes people say, hey, because on Black Planet, they have pictures, right?
As a guy, as a guy.
We have one picture on Black Planet and one song, okay?
But wait a minute, don't forget the 3D visual in the background with the sprinkles going up and down, the flashing lights and something like that. And your picture took about 5 minutes to load on top of that.
And you understood coding, then you had sparkles. I didn't have sparkles, I didn't understand.
You didn't have sparkles?
But my husband, he had.
But you had the background, though. You had a special background.
I had Christina Milian, Dip It Low. That was my song.
Now you can spot.
And because you had that song, it took 5 minutes for your picture to come up after the song started. Because you know computers weren't compatible; they weren't ready then. The song would get to go, and you'd be like through the second verse, and here comes your picture.
Date everything but a Leo. You can spot a Leo on dating sites. They're the ones who don't give a description of who they are. They just
You already
shirt
know.
off with mud on the front.
Yeah. You know what, Yo Joy? Y'all just need to hit the reset. Chris, y'all need to hit the reset button. That's what y'all need to do. Just try it. Just start over.
Glistening on
Y'all
the
Please, I'm asking.
First of all, it was a smart. I'm a smart racer. I race. Thank you. Did you get mud on you when you did it?
No,
Thank
be
you.
honest. Be honest about the thing.
What?
He had like a human being.
I had the gravel buckets. Yes.
No,
Another Spartan racer's in here. No.
No, let's talk about your missing description.
I don't need a
It was
description.
just my body. I am Leo. Hear me roar.
I didn't have that.
A dirty man.
And first of all, I will say this. I never updated my thing for I don't know how long. It just used to be the same thing because I didn't need to update
That's
it.
something to be proud of. I saw Jesus in the woods when I was in the park. That is not easy. I was like going crazy. That's not easy.
Look, so that's what she talking about. But like I'm saying, it helps you when you go out there and see what you're trying to find in this world to be your, I don't know, your happy place, your person that you're going to spend the rest of your life with, the person that you're going to grow to love. Because I hate when y'all say y'all in love right away. Grow to love in different levels. Let me take that back. No, you can't fall in love right away based on your experiences, but have different levels of love. Yeah, so, I mean, don't get too discouraged about your sign, but learn about it so you understand the strengths of your sign, and then learn how the strengths of your sign can work within you to help you in whatever you do. Because I think we've mentioned the words introvert, extrovert. We've also talked about love languages. We talked about personality tests, different things. And then your sign is almost like the best... I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong. I'm thinking like the foundation is what I was exactly going to say. It's like your foundation to say, okay, this is where I'm starting from. And if I'm starting from here, then why do I do this? Why do I do that? And then, of course, it goes in the whole mental health thing. Because sometimes, I'm not saying you can self-diagnose yourself. What you can do, you're fine. What you can do, though, is you can kind of get an idea of why you feel the way you feel. Or why is it that you maybe interact with certain people certain ways. And maybe gotta have that conversation with, like we're talking about, like, what is your sign? You know, so that's
a good place to start.
Great place.
It you know, people don't get defensive when you start there. You know, you're like, well, how do you grow up? You know what I'm saying? What's your background? Well, you know, that's too much. But if you start with the sign, then that gives you some information. It's a very safe place to start.
Some people give you a birthday gift.
That can help you. I mean, that can help you about yourself. Because I mean, I'm just listening to this. Some things. As an adult, you grow up and you're like, I know I do things differently from everybody else. I don't know anybody else that does it this way. So you just think it's just a you thing, and maybe I can't discuss this with nobody else. But if you get deeper into looking at your signs, and then you see some things like, wait a minute, oh, okay, so it's not just me. Okay, maybe it's part of my moons. I mean, I didn't know anything about moons before today, but now
your emotional side.
Now, yeah, that too. I mean, now I know. I'm gonna look up some more. That's real informing. Glad you came.
Thank you.
I got some insight now.
Thank you.
So, any closing points, guys?
Do your research. Be honest with yourself.
Please
Don't
be
be
honest.
afraid to Google. Google
That's
is
hard.
there for a reason.
It
We're not
is.
back in the day no more where you have to sit and wonder and just figure it out. Google some things, whatever's on your mind.
Absolutely. I agree.
Well, I do agree with that. Google, ask her mama, ask her daddy.
Yeah.
Oh, man, look at the parents.
and where we are right now, look for the baby pictures.
And Aubrey brought up a good point about finding out who she was raised by too. That might also be something like what she raised. It sounds like crazy research to do when you dating, but to be honest, you don't really. I mean, you don't really waste your time. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there you can just catch while you dating. You know what I'm saying? Sexually, but you don't want to catch something mentally because that'll mess you up for the. I mean.
Oh yeah.
Could be
For a lifetime.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's another show.
Yeah.
Soul Ties.
There you go.
Oh,
Soul Ties.
Come on.
You see how many shows we got off of this right here? Off of talking about one thing?
That's
Well-
why I'm single, Jesus.
Oh.
You probably need some kind of energy.
We're gonna have to go to the board
Some
next time.
people.
I know, right?
Like so.
We're going to break down all these topics. But do me a favor, y'all. If y'all want us to talk about something, please send it to me in the comments. Let me know. Nothing is off of the books that we can't talk about. I will talk about anything. I will be 100% honest with you because I can, because I'm single. So I will tell y'all whatever y'all need to know about anything. So, and I can get other people on the show too that if you're like, hey, get this particular person on. Because I did have somebody say they wanted a sexual expert on the show that wanted to talk. And that probably I wouldn't be part of that show if you guys are talking about like, you know, the female body parts and orgasms because, you know, hey, you know, y'all need to know that stuff and it's good to have somebody. But I literally have access to a lot of different, you know, experts or people that have interests or people that have a purpose in something and just like want to talk about something. And that thing about talking about something is that now it doesn't make it so awkward or it doesn't make it so like off the topics and things that you can't talk about with people at work. You can talk about with us. So consider us your therapy. Consider us just the one place you can go to and actually be relaxed and share your innermost thoughts with us or whatever. Just don't tell me you killed nobody, because I have to report you legally. But you can share anything else you want with us. And as always, I want to thank, of course, my wonderful host, LM.
Yes, sir.
Autumn.
Yes, ma'am.
Autumn.
The beat again.
Yes, sir.
And then, of course, our special guest host, Latoya. Thank you for coming through.
And guys, you all can find me on Facebook. My name is Latoya K. That's Latoya, last name Kay. And on Instagram, it's Latoya K_MS. You can find me on either one of those platforms.
And I finally get to do this thing. You'll see this at the bottom of the screen. Not on live, but I'm saying not right now. No, not right now. But later on, I gotta edit it, and you'll see what she said. I'm gonna have her
looking right.
Yeah, I'm gonna have her write it out though, because I don't want to misspell nothing. But it's gonna be like somewhere like that.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna make sure it runs the whole time with my finger doing that right. Hey y'all, thank y'all again. I appreciate it. Hey guys, thank you for tuning in. You live folks that I'm seeing all over the place. Oh, thank you for all the hearts. Oh, that's awesome. Hey, thank you guys. All right, check y'all later.
All right.
Bye.